Welcome back to our channel, A Trade of View.
I'm your girl, A. Marie.
And I'm your girl, Owen. Thank you for all your support in season 1. If you haven't seen it yet, please head to our YouTube channel. We've got all the videos there, our interviews and our Let's Talk discussions.
And today's Let's Talk is a discussion about the current events that are affecting people within our community.
So today we have with us our guest. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Aaron Brunfeld, co-founder of Making Change Studios and Free Trees Furniture.
Greg Rogers, co-founder of Making Change Studios and Free Trees Furniture.
So guys, this goes for everyone on the panel. Have you ever experienced racism personally? And if you have, what stood out for you most? What was like the worst experience for you if you have experienced it?
Yeah, definitely I've experienced racism from young. I remember growing up to a certain age in Handsworth. First of all, just for the context for people to know what we do, is we run a studio, a podcasting studio, and we work predominantly with members of, they like to term it in the circles we work in as the BAME community. But I don't like it.
I hate it.
I don't like it. Like, it ties everyone into the same box, and I really don't like it. But so we work with the NHS a lot. We work with Crime Commission, IOPC, Children's Trust, so Solihull, Black Country. And basically all we try to do is engage in the community what it's like for, I don't want to say just, but especially black males predominantly, because that's our experience. And a lot of it revolves around, you know, the inequalities in mental health, the inequalities in the justice system, you know, the remunerations and how many numbers of young black kids are going in and out. So predominantly 365 days a year, that's what we do. Like, so race is, I think people like to skirt over the issue of race. It's kind of a weird thing, even when people have the best intentions and they say, I don't see colour. That's good, but at the same point, I am a black man and I love being a black man, so why would you feel not to see my colour? Surely that is part of who I am. Myself, growing up, as I said, moving from Handsworth up to these sides, which is predominantly white, especially 10, 15 years ago. Predominantly white area. I remember being like 11 in the park with my school friends, the only black kid. I was probably like 1 or 4 black kids in the whole school. I was sitting in the park with my friends looking over, and 11 years old, like a big man, he must have been like 30, 35, just wild, what are you looking at, you black bastard?
Wow.
That was my first outwardly out experience of it. And being 11 at the time, you're like, yo, like, you don't even know, like, because you haven't really been yet seen that side before. So yeah, definitely, it's predominant. And then I think as you get older, you know, so you can maneuver around it. But there's definitely I think also racism is the expectation. Like I always say this as well to people. I think as a black man, when you go into a room, especially with white people, you feel like you have to present the best version of yourself, no flaws or nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's
Thank you for sharing that.
It's hard to put my finger on one instance because
It's been so many.
So casual as well.
So
that's
many.
what I mean,
So I'm talking, the casual stuff is the worst stuff because it's like it kind of can slip in on the radar. I can think of when I was like 9 years old in junior school, and people asking me about, children asking me about my hair. Why are you this colour? Why is your hair like pubes and things like that?
Do you think that's racism?
What is it?
I don't think it is. I think if a child, because I'm sure, like when I was younger, I don't know if I was around white children, I would have been like, why are you white?
Okay,
why am I black?
maybe that was the first time I knew I wasn't white.
Yeah, that's
different.
Yes.
It depends on the context because kids are taught racism early from a young age. Because I don't believe that you're just born racist.
No.
It's the conversations that they're hearing within their home
100%,
that makes them
100%.
leave as a child. How do you
Think
learn the
it's
word?
acceptable.
Yeah, the N
Yeah.
word and stuff. Where did you hear that from? Where
Yeah.
did you pick that up? And then to
Everything's
associate it with something that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So that's
See, this is
So,
where
you can be, but it depends on the context.
context.
Because they could have just been asking me because it's something unusual.
And kids
Yeah.
are innocent. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
but it
Kids are
could have been
quite-
the other way where they're taught.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with that. But I think the poor thing you said was context.
It
Context
depends
on the
is
context.
such a big thing that people need to put into play.
And the person's approaching it, because it could, just because it said that, it could mean malice by it.
100%.
You know what I mean? But so that was an early instance when I remember. I remember it like through my working life as well. When I was let's go back to when I was early at school, senior school. I remember there was this one teacher, and he used to pick out like the black and brown kids, like to be sent out of the class and to stand up and to when like everyone was doing something, but he would pick out. But we would say to him like back then, like there's three lads, and we're like, "You're prejudice, man, prejudice," and the teacher would be like, "What? You can't say that." Blah, blah, blah. But like, there's loads of instances growing up when I felt like that wouldn't have happened if I was white.
Yeah,
It's true.
100%.
And it's mad
One
because
is-
on that point, they make you think like it's all in your head,
Yeah.
and it's obviously you're seeing it, you're living
Yeah.
it,
Feeling it, yeah.
and you're feeling it, and it's like they don't want to understand that. They just think it's all in your head, and I feel like they fail to understand.
Yeah,
and
like you're making
that's
too
the
much of a
main
big
problem.
deal
Like,
of it.
yeah, we've just got an issue. Like we can feel it, we can see it. Just try and understand us. Sorry, carry on.
On that point, like, I think it's easier for, say, a white person or someone who's not coming from a Bahamian background or black background. It's easier for them to use the power of stigmas and stereotypes against you, so it's even more subtle. So if I was, say I was in a job and I got the sack for something and then something got pinned on me, because of those stereotypes and that feeling that comes from what they think about the community, straight away someone might think, well, he was likely to do that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's been instances where I've been sacked from a job and I found out later that the manager was the person teething and he's pinned it on me.
Oh.
But because it's me, everyone's just like,
It's
oh,
expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it probably was him. Like,
Yeah.
so there's the subtleties as well that
So
I've
easy to just
experienced
write
as
it
well.
off.
Microaggression, very passive aggressive racism. Like it's subtle, but it's there.
I've had like very casual racism because I grew up Handsworth sides, Lazals, all that stuff. But then obviously moved over to Chelmsford Wood sides, and then that's where it was mainly throughout secondary school. But I didn't go out a lot because there wasn't really a lot of girls my age. But there's a few guys that used to hang around, and me and my cousin used to hang around a lot. And the one day they was like, "Oh, do you want to hear a joke?" Can't tell a joke, it's a dirty joke. But it was literally, by the end of it was just borderline just racist. And I was like, did you really just sit there and walk up to us comfortably and say, "Oh, do you want to hear a joke?" And then they're laughing about it, but not expect us to have a reaction. But we was kind of shocked at the time. It was like, did that just actually happen?
How old was he?
It's probably about 12, 13 as well. So we was just like, did that? Like, we literally didn't know what to do because it was so in your face, but it was played off as a joke.
Sometimes they're not aware, they don't know, they don't think they're doing anything wrong.
Now, see, in things like that instance there, because I've had that, like, you have people like to push your buttons, because like you said, they want you to play into a stereotype.
They do.
It's like sometimes you can be in a situation where someone will say something you don't even feel like you can win, because as a man, I know like 9 times out of 10, you know, someone saying something, it's going on, and it like, like so to say things, but because you're in certain situations, you feel like I'm probably the only black person there, or a couple. If I jump up now and take my man out, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna look like the aggressor.
You have to
Then,
silence your blackness.
yeah, then I'm like what they think I am, kind of thing. So
My experience was right in my face, and it was when I was working, and it was me and 2 of my white colleagues, and we was having a conversation. We just talk about being slim and petite, which you hear me moan all the time about me being slim and petite. It's nothing new. And she was very slim and petite. I don't know if she took offence to it, but that's the only, it probably has nothing to do with it, but I just don't know why on earth she would have did what she did to me and no one else. And I was leaving, going my lunch break at work. So I was putting on my coats, my head was down, and I just felt her walk past me, barged into me hard that I went like this, and all I heard as she did it, she said, "You black bastard."
Wow.
So I was like, I blacked out. I forgot I was at work. I was in the office. I reached out my hand because instincts. I was like, I'm gonna draw you back and I'm gonna beat the. As soon as I lifted up my hand like this, because I was like, because she was saying it as she was leaving. I'm thinking, where do you think you got?
It ain't over.
You ain't finished now. You started something. Let me finish it. My colleague was like, Emery, leave it. Report it to. Let's say my manager's name is Maxine. So I reported it. It's very important, guys, if you're at work and something happens, to document it and cover your back.
Okay.
So all my colleagues had witnessed what had happened, so they were there to see that she did assault me. I left it. A couple weeks later, I'm going home, mind my business, on the bus from work, with my nice little pencil office dress and my heels, you know. I had long blonde hair extensions and my grey contact lenses, which was
Remember those days?
a mistake. So it didn't help with fighting.
It was a phase.
Yeah, we was on the bus now, and let's just say she started running her mouth, calling me a monkey, black this, black this. So I'm thinking, I ain't at work now. I got time today. I got time. So she's punching. I grips her up. Actually, I'm not even going to go into detail of what happened. Let's just say she ended up on the floor, and the boss, her boyfriend, dragged her and was like, get her at work, get her at work. You know she works.
Well, you gotta wait for work as well. You're here.
I was like, I'm ready. Friday's dressed down. Friday, the next day, it was the first day. I was like, I can wear my jeans because I was not prepared that day. My hair was on my face. Contact lenses came out when she punched me. But she got served. She got served. Okay. So the next day, I'm at work and I had to liaise. So we was going for a walk with my colleagues and I saw her and two other females. And I was like, okay, I was prepared for us to deal with this not at work, maybe at the bus stop. I don't know. She was saying nowhere. And she starts mouthing off. So I was just like, I started cussing her. The lady was like, I'm not having that. I see them running, going to the office. I think, oh my gosh, they're going to where I work. So I quickly ran in. I sat down at the office. And then they came in, spoke to my manager, told my manager that I beat her up or whatever. The next thing, I'm sitting there. I could see from the window who was coming and going. I see some police officers walking by.
Joking.
And then my colleague phoned me, and I just said straight away, they're here for me, aren't they? He said, yeah. So I went, the police is there. They're like, you lucky the laws changed, because before we just arrested you and asked no questions. So I sat down, there's like, she said you beat her up, you assaulted her for no reason, she's had to go get stitches, she wants you fired, she wants to let an apology. I don't know where this came from, but I was brave. I said, no. Yeah. I said, I'm not apologizing for being black. I said, she's racist. She assaulted me and I was racially provoked. I don't know where this came from. I said, no, I refuse. And I was like, she assaulted me in my place of work. My colleagues was there as witnesses. I reported to my manager. My manager, because my manager was a witness at the time when the police was talking to me. They were like, did this happen? Manager, who's a black woman, was like, yes, that's what happens. Basically, in the end, she got done for a fray because she brought people to my place of work and because she racially assaulted me and stuff. But that was my worst. She didn't work.
No, did you?
Oh, me? Oh, no, because...
No, sorry, I thought
she was a client's girlfriend.
Okay.
And then we was helping people get back into employment, so she never had no job. But they switched around that she was going to get arrested instead of me.
Yeah.
But that was a eye-opening experience and scary, because at the time I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting arrested, I'm not going to see my daughter. So
it's worse to experience it in the workplace as well, isn't it? Because you've got to see those people so much. And you've got to see all the people around them so much as well, so it's got to be dealt with very carefully.
You have to, I always say, you water down your blackness and you have to be silent. I have the same conversation with my daughter. Check your tone, make sure your tone's down there. Not too many hand gestures, not too aggressive, because no matter what, if it's you versus a non-black female, you're always going to be seen as the aggressor, no matter if you were the victim.
I think it's... I don't know how it's affected me, because it's not, like I said, we try and fight this stuff every day. Literally, I'm having meetings with people talking about race equality, doing focus groups continuously.
Okay.
So, recent events
It's nothing
It
new.
doesn't surprise me. Everyone acting like it's surprised. And I was trying to say to someone the other day, people don't understand it because they're not really looking hard enough.
Yeah.
They're talking about why we're upset about George Floyd. I don't know George Floyd. Honestly, I'm not upset about George Floyd. I'm just being frank and honest now.
It's what
I
he
don't know them.
represents.
Yeah, it's the catalyst. It's the fact that, listen, if anyone's racist and they're listening to this, I don't mind you being racist. I like my racist. Tell me.
Still know who they are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell me.
directly.
But I ain't going to try and change your mind. But when the system that governs me and is meant to look after my children is racist, that's when I got a
In
problem
support
with
of
it.
it.
Yeah, that's it. It's that simple. If you're meant to be safeguarding me and mine, how can you look at me less than you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's been good. I think it's been bad as well. I'm not into this. I don't think every white person is racist. I think we're calling people out about little things that don't really matter when the actual thing that we need to be doing is working on what we're raising our children with and how we're going to become economically independent. That's big things for me. Whereas the rest, like statues and tit for tat, you're not following the movement, that means you're a racist. I don't agree with that. I just think that realistically, a lot of people, they're never going to understand. That's just the fact of it. It doesn't sit in with their principle. Imagine someone telling you that you're privileged, but you've only managed to do half of what someone that isn't privileged is going to do. That's how I see it. It's an attack on people's self-worth, and I'm privileged, but I ain't done nothing with my life. That privilege don't exist. You're lying. I'm not privileged. So you're moaning about nothing. What's going on? It hasn't surprised me, but it's touched me. I think it's been quite eye-opening to see. First of all, I went to the protest in town, and it was beautiful. You know, I thought to be fair, it was quite overwhelming because I didn't expect it to be as united, no trouble, just a peaceful protest as it should be.
Apparently Birmingham was the only place that never had no trouble.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing is, I didn't see any police there. And the whole thing, and the whole time I was there, I didn't see any police. So what does that say? There's more peace when the police aren't
Yeah,
there.
when there's no police presence.
Is that because of what's currently happened, though, or is that a ongoing thing? Like, because you see, okay, what happened in London with the protests and stuff, it looked like it kicked off, but all you really saw was a
Couple pictures.
police car driving at a crowd and a horse running around.
Yeah.
But you know they try and control the narrative because they want
propaganda.
to make it negative. They don't want to put out the positive stories and feedback.
But yeah, you have to look at it like, you know, you mentioned earlier about kids being racist and how they're being indoctrinated. Basically, we learn from our parents. All of us do. So if you think back in, especially American history, I'm talking about now. If you look back to the early 19th century, basically when the Ku Klux Klan came into place, most people there were the police force. So ex-slavers, plantation drivers, and masters became the law because it became a slave catching thing. So when the abolition of slaves came about, those people then became the police officers. So then it's just passed down, like, my dad, you see in America, my dad was a policeman. His dad was a policeman. His dad was a policeman. So it's always gonna be in there. So yeah, I don't know what I was going to be. I lost my point.
The whole thing was built on racism.
Yeah, exactly.
So how's it going to change without a drastic change to who's running it?
You can't have equality as well with, again I'm talking about America. I want to come off talking about America. This is the last point I'm going to make on it, but the whole American system is one that even down to the abolition of slaves, you can no longer be someone's property unless you are a criminal. Straight away, so basically what you do is you free all the black people and then you just lock them up.
And turn them into criminals.
Yeah. So exactly. So and that's been perpetuated because private prisons and things like that are still going on. So that's what I'm saying on America.
Because in the UK we have our own
Definitely.
problems and issues.
But why aren't we screaming loud enough? Is it because that it's just casual here?
I believe because it
disguised better.
Yeah, it's subtle. It's micro-aggressive. It's like like I have these conversations with my friends who are all from different backgrounds, and like I try and explain, like, I know she's racist. Oh, I know he's racist. Oh, they didn't do anything. They didn't say anything. It's not what they said.
It's what they didn't say.
It's what they didn't say. You know when someone's. It doesn't have to be their words or their action, but you just know. But most of the time, it is how they treat you and the assumptions they make. And I do think, like with what's going on, we're having more conversations. I think it needs to be a continuous conversation because people don't understand. And I always say, try and educate. Sometimes I feel that we do need to educate some people. Some people are beyond helping. You just gotta let them go. But in some cases, instead of being the one, oh, she's racist, she's this, she said this. I've had conversations with white women, that ask stupid questions that they've been told by black men that they dated about black women, and it's been going around, oh, she said this, she said this. But I'm like, did you ask her why she said this?
Yeah.
Why do you think this? Instead of
taking someone's word for it.
Yeah, instead of just, okay, you're just going to stop talking to her, but she's still going to leave with this information that she believes is true, that she's going to keep telling people, that she's probably going to tell her kids, going to tell their kids, going to tell their kids. So I was like, I sat down and had a conversation with her to try and educate her. And he was saying stuff like, oh, black women can't keep a job, black woman this, black
This is a black man. So
yes.
A hurt black man.
Yes, that was telling this white woman that he dated this. So this is what she believes to be true, and that's how she viewed black women. And then people start talking to her because she's repeating what she heard. But I'm like, you're not telling her that it's wrong and not educating her or correcting her. You're just going to stop talking to her. But then that's just going to contribute to her keep saying that
and then passing it on.
Passing it on.
She should have the intelligence to say, well, this is one person you're referring to.
She
not
should,
a
but
whole...
clearly she didn't. So if you can...
That's the other thing, are people aren't as smart as we...
That's what I'm saying.
You can't judge somebody by your standards as well. Something that you would do, they won't necessarily... Some people take things blindly and just roll with it without doing their own research.
Is it, do you think that was more because it was a brother saying it to her, or do you think it was because the way the system is set and geared for people to think that way? You're quick to jump on it as soon as there's something that confirms it.
I think it's both. Because if he's confirming it as a black man about his black women, then he's...
she's like, why would he lie?
Is there a problem with we're looking for them to tell our stories? Why are we looking for them to tell our stories?
We shouldn't be.
We've got... look at Top Boy. Top Boy did season 1, season 2. What was it, like 10 years ago?
But then it stopped. Why stopped it? Because I love Top Boy.
It stopped because somebody to do production rights. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they couldn't get production
Real
rights.
McCoy, Blouse and Skirt, all them shows.
But this country has a lot of black millionaires, whether they're African, Afro-Caribbean. So realistically, why didn't we pay for it? Why did Drake have to come and pay?
Have to come and save us.
Tell our story. Like, look how many people are making money in music and how heavily influential music is with Top
You'd
Boy.
think they'd come together as a collective, form a black record label, form a black production company, but
Consortiums and stuff like that.
people don't have the same mindset. They're not thinking like legacy. Let's build something for generational wealth. They're not thinking like that. They're about the dollar bill right now. Yeah.
How can me and mine be good? Yeah.
And I didn't want to say that, but we like to pull. I don't want to put that out there because I'm not for that. But we do tend to pull each other and tear each other. Like we don't want to see each other win. Like if she wins, I win. If I win, she wins. But other people see it as if you do good, then they have to do bad.
Why is that? Why do we feel like that?
I think it's mental because at the end of the day, there's enough food for everyone to eat. YouTube, we can all eat. Why is there only going to be one at the top? There's enough pieces of the pie. There's enough in the music industry for everyone to win.
But is that due to years and years of, social oppression, social engineering, and these
It's a contribution
constructs?
of everything, really.
Because even though we say we didn't have the slave trade here,
We did.
we didn't have it to the extent, and it was abolished a lot sooner. But and I mean, when I say here, I mean this island.
UK had it.
It did, yeah, but it didn't make economic sense for them to have black slaves here because they had the Irish.
Listen, they had the slaves, but what they tried to do, because I've been watching some documentaries and doing some research, that like it goes back to how racism is now. It's very subtle, and they try to be discreet and sneaky about it. It was happening, but it just wasn't in your face.
It was happening, but what I'm saying is to the extent. So we didn't need it here because they had the Irish, but Britain is such a big place. Look at Jamaica. Any black Jamaican person was a slave. Jamaica is not black.
You trying to say I was a slave and product of a slave?
What's your surname?
I probably was. You're right.
It's the truth. Like my name's Broomfield. My family's Jamaican, Cuban and Jamaican. But I know my dad's taught me from young. Broomfield is your slave name. No black.
But yeah, that's what my mum said. That because our names. I know my name's Scottish. My surname.
Scottish,
I did my research already on my name, and they told me that they couldn't trace my ancestors because obviously I'm Jamaican. And there's like they burnt. They said when the Scottish invaded, they sent me back some stuff. When they invaded, they burnt a lot of
records. To that degree, when we say like, I'm black, I'm Jamaican. I was reading Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was a black Jamaican living in Fing, but he makes a good point that the only reason that you're Jamaican is because the boats that the slaves that put on that particular boat didn't go to America.
Well, most of us came from West Africa in the Caribbean, they say.
The slave coast, Benin. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think this country, like I say, the racism is that entrenched as well, just like America, in the institutions. It doesn't have to be outwardly like you're black, you're this. It's the fact that if I'm going for a job, as I said to you, it's more likely pointing told a story. My friend the other day told me she interviewed a black African woman, perfect for the role. She went to see her boss. The boss come and just took a look at the woman and said, "Nah, her face don't fit the company."
Wow.
Yeah, and then hired a white girl who was literally less qualified and nowhere near as good.
You know what it is? It seems to me like it's always the people on the ground that are responsible for bringing the people. Like, alright, so you have your politicians and whoever, and they decide on who to go to war with, but they never go to war, do they? They always send someone who's probably not quite realise what's going on to go and fight.
Class.
The same thing seems with the police. Like, the police are pulling people in. So, alright, there's a prevalence of more of a prevalence in the mental health system and the judicial system over here. I'm not sure whether that's the case. In terms of the numbers overall, yes, we make up a smaller part of the population. Yeah. But all that, relatively speaking, we make up a bigger part of the population in prisons and the mental health system. Now, I tend to think it's because of the people that are on the front line. So the people that are bringing people into these services, because it's not always a case of more black people are criminal or more black people are mentally ill. It's a case of more black people are being diagnosed and charged, and that's because the people on the front line are bringing them into the service, and the service is getting their hooks in them. So, I think a lot of the work is the work from bottom down or is it from top down? Is it going to trickle down from speaking to governors and speaking to? I genuinely don't think that would make a difference, because I think the people that are intelligent enough to run. People that are running this country have got the intelligence to know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, but it doesn't fit with the.
It doesn't, and this is why I don't. This is why I don't think it will work from the top down.
We need to. Well, for me, this is what I think. I don't like speaking for other people because you might not agree with me. But like we need to. But I think a lot of it is to do with because I used to be a youth worker as well. A lot of it is to do with the education system. And I feel like they took a lot of the funding, because I'm not a youth worker. The youths that are on the street and do whatever they're doing is because they have nowhere to go and they have no idea of self. If you was to teach their history, like in Jamaica, I learned about where I'm from. When I was there, I learned about the White Witch of Rose Hall. I learned about Marcus Garvey. I learned about Jamaican history, Black history. When I came to England, I was doing history. I was like, where are the Black people? I had to research that myself and educate myself so I can know who I am as a Black woman. But if that's not instilled in you, if your parents ain't pouring that into you, you're going to school, they're not pouring that into you, and then the teacher is saying to you, you ain't nothing, you ain't going to be nothing, you ain't come for nothing, and because you have no knowledge of self that to know, yes, I come from a line of royalty and we was inventors and we science and we created this, then you're just going to be like, you know what, I'm nothing, I'm going to be nothing, I can't be nothing. So if we put money and resources and we had more youth programs where people could come off the, kids could come off the street, they could learn about themselves, they could do activities, they can do things, join courses that were free so that they could have the knowledge to do something and be whatever they wanted to be. But obviously we know that's not going to happen.
The thing is that there has to be a sustainable course. Like, it's all well and good saying like this needs to be put in place, but realistically it has to be leaders from within our community.
And they have the money, but they're not doing it.
But this
But
is
is
what
there
I'm
sport
saying.
But it's
there
about
as well?
leadership and the key word you said there.
Yes, this was
The money's
just
there,
to say.
but there's no one that's willing to
Because they're not
step up
invested.
and say, but that's the problem, why
It
get
is.
invested? Why don't they see this as a big enough
It
issue
could be
to
too
be
hard.
invested in it?
It's too hard to do.
No,
Is
you
it
know what? Because
combination thing.
yous are invested.
Mm.
We're invested. We don't have the means to make our vision.
Yeah, honestly, I went to see my dad. My dad works as a youth worker, so I works for Aston Villa. He lives in Aston, and I've went to see him at, what's it called now? Is it Lighthouse?
Yeah, the blue one in his house.
Yeah, there's that Lighthouse. So I went to meet him there, and he's there, and he's got like a little cohort of kids that he's teaching football. But the place is massive. I was like, yo, it's sick in here, you know.
Yeah, so
You've got computers everywhere, pool table, every yo. Other than the people my dad had, this one little bit, the place was empty. I was like, what? It's like the holiday as well. I'm thinking, why is there no kids in here? Realistically, like big basketball court, football, everything. Where is the kids?
This is recently.
Yeah, recently, like,
Start now.
yeah, last
But
summer. Like,
COVID-19 can play, I'm just saying.
no, not this time. This
No,
was
no,
like
I think
before. I'm
prior to
talking about
that.
last summer.
Oh.
This is like, so it was like, I can't be. I said, what's going on here? It was just like, listen, this place is dead. The kids just don't want to come in here. I'm like, what?
Why
Like,
does he look too?
it's brand new, but sick. You know the one at Bourneville College? That's the sister one.
Oh,
Opposite
down
the Longbridge.
Longbridge. Yeah.
That
I thought
student
that when
thing.
you said it, because
Yeah,
that's the same thing. It's empty all the time.
Empty.
You never see anyone going in or out of there. Don't see no lights on nothing.
I don't think there's enough.
Exposure.
Yeah,
Because I didn't even know about it.
When I was younger, there was play centres everywhere.
Yes.
Youth centres everywhere. It's not there
Play
anymore.
scheme.
You know the
Yeah.
Play
people,
scheme, yeah, that shit.
the people
Yeah.
that were taking them to these play schemes and youth centres and things, they've all been cut though.
Yeah.
I remember there was people working in early intervention service. So when people looked like they were starting to appear to have early warning signs of mental illness and stuff, they would come in and say, "Come, I'll take you to pool, I'll take you to football."
Yeah.
The people that were on the ground, going out, taking people to these centres, taking people to these groups, they got cut. Now, why? Because to me, at the time, these were the most important people. As I said, the people on the front line, generally the ones that... So if you're... I'm contradicting myself because I'm saying if someone's bringing someone into the mental health system, then they get the hooks in them. But these were people that were stopping people from going into the mental health system, or early intervention. They were kind of saying, you're heading this way. How can we help to make sure you stay on the straight and narrow, so to speak? And that service got cut, and I remember thinking, like, that's the most important person in your service right there.
They made a lot of cutbacks because they cut my funding as well when I was a youth worker, and that's why I stopped doing it, because that's how I got paid. It was based off of funding, and like I used to apply for funding as well for like, we put on different programs. So we did like a drug program, and like we teach them about the dangers of drugs, and then there'd be like a reward at the end of it if they attended so many of the programs, the sessions weekly. Then we'd take them away, and like we took them to Wales. Then did like a camping trip, and I did cooking lessons with them. I used to do mentoring as well, so then I could like talk one-on-one. But then the funding, like that's at the root. You're there. You can mold them. You can mentor them.
It's not private businesses. Like, we talk about funding in these programs like their jobs. Like someone has to create a business that has to be viable. Like we're saying this is for the kids, but kids aren't buying your service, are they?
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's not like a packaged product. So without things like what's called like the recession we had when all the funding started to get cut for basically everything. Without I thought that's again last year for. So basically what I'm saying is I can see why funding gets cut and things get different things. I understand like the economics of
the money needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah, but is that does that mean that we need to change our view on criminal justice? Like in Scotland, when kids were killing each other, they didn't say it was just criminal justice. They actually put it into healthcare. Yeah. We've seen a dramatic drop in the way they viewed it. So they had community leaders meeting with like the NHS up there and things like that, and knife crime dropped significantly.
Just because you're decriminalising it for a start.
Yeah. So is it a health epidemic? Is what I'm saying, and is that way then you can create jobs for it, like part of the NHS? You always hear talk about the problem, but the solution. Like, you can start early, so group intervention things are great, but if I take a child and I just tell him to say, shouldn't stop people, and then I send him back into, an area that's got high levels of poverty, low levels of education, unemployment, bad healthcare, what am I actually showing them? I'm just telling them something. It's like someone telling me, the tooth fairy is real, or it don't really matter. You need to take kids out and show them different experiences. Like when you made a good point earlier about teaching them the history about being shackled. Let's teach them the history about being kings and queens. Yeah, I don't need to tell my kids to museums to tell them that.
I said that earlier. In school, that they don't know about that they come from kings and queens, and that we was the ones teaching science. We taught maths. They don't know about that.
You were saying like we focus on the problem with things like drill music and stuff like that, and we don't focus on we never focus on the cause. Like why people are so disenfranchised, why people feel the need to turn to crime instead of getting a job or going and work and starting a business. You don't look at the cause of that. The reason is people are disengaged and disenfranchised because they've been screwed over. And they're still getting screwed over now.
And they ain't been shown a way out of it either, so they've been made to stay in this state of mind.
No alternative.
Take you from the root and teach you their own truth. That lyric keeps coming in my head. Sorry, random.
No.
They take you from the root, teach you their own truth, and that's why people are insecure and don't know, have a sense of self.
Like
because they were ripped from everything that people knew and learned, and just put in the farmland and said, this is the way things are over here.
Do you feel we're asking too much? Do you feel we're asking too much?
No, absolutely not.
Listen, I'm
because they took our people. They took our people from Africa, dashed them in a boat, crammed them together, and took them to foreign lands where they didn't know the language, stripped them to their family.
It's easy enough for them to teach us their history than it's
about Henry VIII, which I love.
How do you do it though? Like as a black person, as a class in a school system with 30 people. And you've got most schools, remember, black people, I think actually all minorities only come up to about 17 or 7, it might be 7%.
The same way they teach everyone else.
It's sad, but I think we need to be a bit ignorant, because people have been ignorant for years and years to everything we've been saying and doing. So it's about time we started saying, Boris comes on the news, I ain't listening to what you got to say, I ain't bothered about what you got to say.
So even though we don't mess with politics, same with America, a lot of black people, they don't vote and stuff. I voted for the first time, I think, when I was like 33.
Really?
But
I've got to vote.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. That's something.
I think the first time I voted.
I voted
Why didn't you vote before though?
Because I was like, I don't want to be involved in politics and all the mix-up and stuff. But then when
I ain't gonna change anyway.
That's how that's the ignorance. That's how I used to think. And to me, I'll say that I think that's ignorant. But I didn't know any better. I wasn't educated on it. So because I didn't understand it and I didn't want to like mess up my head, I was like, I don't care. And I saw what was going on in the world, and I said, right, if everyone thinks like me, every black person, even if 10 of us think like that, we could have been the deciding vote But because we're all thinking our voice or our vote ain't going to make a difference.
But then look at the other side, the reason why you probably wasn't doing it. And I still feel every time I go to vote now, I'm in two minds about it because I'm like, am I just perpetuating a cycle?
But the difference is, like,
But I feel better with myself because I stand for some things.
but the other things as well, we're voting for the things that we shouldn't be voting for. Like, realistically, everyone vote when it comes down to picking the PM. Nah, you gotta get to your local election.
Yeah, I do both. I do both. I do local and the big one.
Changing your life. You can write to your local MP and
And
that answer you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so that's when you affect change. If people get involved in local politics,
So that's another thing. Another thing along with education as well. I think as black people we need to educate ourselves, even though politics is the devil. We need to educate ourselves so that we know enough information so we can vote towards making a change. Because let's be clear, we can say education and do this and do that, but they are the one that have the power.
I just think we're out of time in society where we need to stop asking for them to do
Just
for
do it.
us.
We've only sold one of our own, which we said is what we needed, but who's going to step up? Who's going to step up and be like, I'm going
But
to
that's
be...
the conversation that needs to be had, and I don't
Yeah.
think it should just be laid on one person.
I think it should be collective.
There should be quite a few people that are willing to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we just need one leader and put everything on him or her to say you need to do it, or it needs to be a collective
Goes
of
back to
powerful,
support
strong
again.
black people who, have the money and, and can figure some sort of infrastructure.
Because everyone's going to have different ideals of how they see
Wanna do.
things and how they
Yeah.
want to be. So we need a voice for
It's
all of
community.
us.
It's community. It's your friends and your family. Like everyone. Like I listen to my mum probably more than anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone, don't care like what you're doing. I probably listen to mum more than you. So what she's feeding me, I believe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna
Yeah.
feed my kids, and they're gonna feel it. And then it's just how influential are you on the people around you.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it
I
starts.
was about
It's
to
not
say
like-
that's where it starts. Because that's the
where it
change
starts. Yeah.
we can all make.
I don't really think that white people hate black people. I really don't. I think
Right.
they don't know black people.
Yeah.
I think they're scared because they're
What they
told
don't
every
know.
Of the
day that
unknown.
Yeah.
these black people are coming to our borders. It's perpetuated over time, isn't it? Before you had Britons and they were scared of the Romans, they done it. The Welsh, they done it. Then it's the Polish, they done it. The black people come, they done it. Asians now, the Muslims, they're getting the same thing. I don't really think it's a I hate black people, so it's just like yeah, but that fear turns into hate.
Lack
This
of
is what I'm saying.
understanding.
The fear, the fear of it
Yeah.
turns to hate because you get that. You have to start. Oh,
Get defensive.
yeah, very defensive about it. So yeah, I don't know, man. Because when I really think about it, I'm thinking, how can you hate something that you don't know?
Just because of the colour of their
How can you
skin.
hate
It's
something
just
you do
like, how
not?
can you not like me just because
Yeah.
I'm black?
What is the
Stupid
difference? What
thing.
is
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I was born
But
this way.
it's good. I think it goes deeper than just a dislike. I think you can look at someone and feel fear. So the first time, say, a European man looked at a black man, say he went and he's seen a tribesman or something, and he's a big, broad black man, you're gonna feel that kind of fear and intimidation. It's inferiority, and I do think that inferiority plays a massive part in the whole.
massive.
I think the system is built and designed to hide that feeling of inferiority.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is probably totally off topic, but I was having this conversation with my daughter the other day. And I was like, there's some point in history, there's a disconnect with black people. Because before we were slaves, right, we were king and queens and emperors and empresses.
Yeah, so where did it all go wrong?
This is it, we were strong
You
with
don't
us.
know.
Then
Scholars, artists,
Yeah, and then
inventors.
some point we were slaves, we weren't allowed to read or write, we were docile and submissive, and we was...
Black experience is very different. A lot of Africans don't call themselves black because they're African. They weren't taken and then labelled a black man by a
Yeah.
white man.
Yes.
Before the white man, there weren't no black and white.
Yeah.
So they still see it. I had an interesting conversation with my dad about it, and he was telling me about, the diaspora. So basically, everyone that was taken from Africa, their black experience is completely different to Africans, just for that fact. So when we talk about the black experience, I think you can't tie it down. Like you said, where did it go wrong? We've still got kings and queens. We've still
Yeah.
got rulers. They're still in Africa.
Yeah.
They're doing what they're doing. So where did it go wrong? I don't know if it, I think when we say where did it go wrong, how wrong has it gone?
There is a disconnect, and that brings it back to the black experience. It's different everywhere. Like in the UK and the black American, like they're Afro-Americans, And in the UK, what if you ask like an American black person where they're from, they're like, I'm from Minnesota. I'm from. You ask someone here, I'm Jamaica. I'm this. It's like the experience is totally. And then Africans are like, well, we're here. We've been here. We didn't go nowhere. We weren't slaves. Like we're Africans. We're strong. So the black experience isn't one experience. Like your experience as a black person, your experience as a black person, your experience, my experience, your experience. We're all our experiences are different.
But like what I was saying is, it's not a black experience as an African, it's just life, isn't it?
I think the disconnect comes as well being British. Like, you're not really, because I'm British, like, for like my family in Jamaica, I've been to Jamaica several times. But when I'm there, I ain't Jamaican. First thing I say, English white. Straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is. So that's where the disconnect comes from. I'm not first generation. So I'm second, so I'm not really Jamaican. I know I've got Jamaican roots, but that's not my home. This ain't my home because I'm seeing all this, institutional racism going on. So they don't really want us there.
Yeah.
That's where the disconnect comes. And then when you start reading back to the history of it, it's all about law. Like before, you had a black man and a white man. But when they started saying, actually, white men can't marry black women. Oh no, sorry, black men can't marry white women. Not that there was a thing, but at the time, that starts to put value on people. So these things are written into law now. So basically, you can come in here if you're white, this bar, but you can't come in here if you're black.
Yeah. Or
that then,
or if you're a dog.
Yeah, telling me that I'm less than that person.
Yeah.
So there's many. I think there's not one period in history like where the black man has kind of not been overawed. Like we talk about the Spanish and things like that. It's just not just the British thing, is what I'm saying. It's why is this a worldwide thing?
I want to point out that I've noticed over the past few weeks, days, is that the black men have been appreciating the black women. Sometime now.
A little bit more.
They have been appreciating us more. I've seen a lot of posts of how we're sorry we've neglected you, we didn't appreciate you, seeing how you fight for us and stand up for us. Because even, I'm not a part of BLM, but it was started by black women. So now they're starting to see, okay sis, I see you. So I just wanted to put that out.
No, that's an interesting point as well, because obviously as black men, like, it is a different experience being a black woman. Like, someone said to me the other day that they feel that black men have a harder experience than black women, and I was like,
what? Didn't they hear what Malcolm X said?
I don't know, man. Like,
about black women?
Yeah. So...
we are so disrespected. We are the most disrespected, looked over women on earth. And not only that, someone printed that we're also the most unattractive women.
I think a big part of it now is, like you just said, that black women have been appreciated, but it's time for like us all to start appreciating each other. Like, I know, as being a black man, I can go places and people just looking at you screw face. Like, and I'm not saying is that me buying into a stereotype? No, I witnessed this. It's stand up, screw face, not smile, nothing. People think in the black community as well that being nice is kind of being vulnerable.
Yeah, it's true. I agree with that.
It makes you weak. They feel like, and again, I think that's because the way the system has presented itself over the years to make them feel like that. So I think now is definitely the time that people need to.
We appreciate each other. But do you think that's a new generational thing? Because a lot of the older heads, when they walk past each other, they all say hello. It's like they all know each other, they all respect each other, call each other brother and sister, go on about their day.
Because the whole old heads, when they see you, alright sister, alright dad, yes princess, kind of like they like.
I do think it is more the younger generation. I think it probably something happened because I would say, I can't put an age, but reggae culture, that age, like when they say big people age, it's like that culture there. They seem to embrace each other.
I think so. The media. So we're talking about education system and stuff like that, and kids are not being taught what they need to be taught at school. They're not being taught what we want them to be taught at school. So they're leaving there and they're thinking, well, whereas people that look like me, when they look to the TV or wherever, or look to the media, and the people that you see people that's portrayed in the media. Now, going back, talking about the prison system stuff, I read this story about the prison owners having meetings with record executives and stuff in America. I'm going on about America again, having meetings with record executives in America and deciding that. So the prison owners said to the record executives, it would be in your best interest to push a certain kind of music to the forefront. A certain kind of music, aka gangster rap.
Is music informing the culture or reporting the culture? Like, surely for them to be coming up with stuff like that, that had to be going on.
Maybe over there it's informing, but over here we soak up American culture like a sponge. So is that what we're doing? We're seeing them informing, this is what's going on over here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, alright, so these people have got to this certain level in society, your Jay-Z's and da-da-da-da. Is that the route I need to take?
Thank you to our guests, Aaron and Greg, for joining us on our Let's Talk. We hope you enjoyed our video. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe our videos, and also on YouTube and Instagram.
Until next time, bye.
Bye.